It's the stained glass windows that draw people and touch people, and I think really takes it out of the realm of a Pizza Hut. It's the power of transformation.
We took everything, 401ks, everything out of the bank and opened up a business that we had no idea how to run.
It was a big transformation to get it to what it is now. But those damn windows, Pizza Hut windows.
Big Ed's Barbecue in Waukegan is featured in a new documentary at the Chicago International Film Festival. It's called Slice of Life, The American Dream in Former Pizza Huts. It takes a look how the iconic Pizza Hut buildings across the country have been repurposed. Larry had to leave early, so Patrick's sitting in with me because he loves Pizza
Right,
Hut.
Larry hasn't had pizza since 1989, so
That's right.
he had me up here.
Joining us are the director and producer of the film, Matthew Soleil and Rose Tucker. Good morning to both of you.
Thank you so much for having us. It's lovely to be here.
And you're both from Australia?
We are originally from Australia, but we've been living in the US for the last 8 years.
And so Pizza Hut was big in Australia too.
It was, yeah.
I think if you're from a certain generation, which we are in, I think it was very, very strong memories. They used to have the all-you-can-eat pizza. It was great.
Yeah. I'm curious, I've always thought of Pizza Hut, though, as like this slice, like you're saying here, a slice of Americana, right?
Yeah.
How different was the experience in Australia? Were the restaurants different?
Oh, they were the same. They're all built using the same building. That was kind of the point.
iconic building,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were all built with the trapezoid windows and the hut-shaped roof. Red roof. Yeah, very similar. I think the menu maybe had some local variation. Like I think we probably had pineapple on our pizzas. That's a very Aussie thing.
So you talked to one of the originators of Pizza Hut who's in his 90s, right? Did he come up with the idea for the shape of these buildings?
Well, yeah, Dan Carney, who is going strong at 92, we interviewed him and he talked about the founding years. They started it with a couple of $100 they borrowed from their mum and just turned it into this great empire. But the story about the original building...
It's a great story. So they started this with like no money. A lot of friends were involved in the formation of the business, including the design of the building. They hired a college friend to design. They knew they needed like an image building because lots of other brands were doing this.
Yeah.
And so they hired their friend and he quoted them $30,000 to design the building. And they're like, we can't afford it. And they ended up settling on $100 a building.
But 12,000 buildings later, and it was a pretty good deal, I think.
Yes,
So,
I believe the Carneys tried to buy the architect out a few times, and he said, no, I'm happy with it the way it is.
So have a lot of these been knocked down, but some are. Talk about some of the more unusual repurposing of these.
Oh, yes. There's a lot left across America. So we saw some amazing ones shooting the film. I think one of the most unique has to be the church we filmed at down in Florida.
Yeah, which was just beautiful. They'd sort of taken all those classic windows and replaced them with stained glass windows. But there's also a really fine dining seafood restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina.
A cannabis dispensary in rural Colorado.
Called the Bud Hut with the bright green roof, very classic Colorado.
Yeah.
Classic Colorado. And then, of course, Big Ed's in Waukegan, just up the road from here. Yeah,
Fantastic barbecue restaurant.
Was there a common thread with a lot of these business owners with why they wanted to have their business in an old Pizza Hut? Is it nostalgia? Is it something about the architecture or the structure itself?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's you don't have a choice in the matter, that if that's the building that you're going to build your dream and that's going to be it. But one thing people kept saying to us is that they were in great locations with great parking. So that sort of was all a big part of it. But yeah, it was fascinating. Some people really lean into it. Some people try to hide it a little bit. There's lots of different variations.
I think I heard years ago that like McDonald's is one of the biggest real estate owners in the world, right?
Yes.
So is Pizza Hut, did they make money off of the land and locations they made?
Yeah, they did. And then they also, it was interesting because some places you could only own 1 or 2 franchises. But my understanding is that the Pizza Hut model was like, you could own hundreds. So some people really made sort of empires.
You could have a city or a state, which is very different, like models like Chick-fil-A, where you can only own one.
Ah.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of, how many original freestanding Pizza Huts are still there that look like these old ones that we remember growing up? Because I know the ones I see all the time in the city now, they're all remodeled. They look nothing like they used to.
Yeah, so these original trapezoid window models, there's hundreds of them still left. Most of them aren't Pizza Huts anymore, they are something else. I don't have an exact figure on it, but I have a Google map where I've been like dotting them through the research of this film, and I have at least 300 to 400 on my list. So there's a lot of them.
So there are some that are still Pizza Huts?
There are a handful, yes.
And then also, I believe that they are also taking some and full circle. They're now making nostalgic new ones to look like the old ones.
Yes, they're calling the Pizza Hut Classic, and they're doing the stained glass lamps, the red and white checkerboard tablecloths, and of course the salad bar is there as well.
The joy that the two of you have for Pizza Hut is palpable right now.
Why? I mean, you're going to do a documentary. Like, what is it that spoke to you about this?
I think it was just, it started with that nostalgia, and then when we looked into it, there's such amazing things that people have repurposed into it. It's sort of the American dream. You start up a business, you're not sure where you're going to build it, but then, you just sort of get, and it was just really passionate stories. When we started meeting these people, we were like, these are really special stories.
And it was such a big deal when your small town got a Pizza Hut, right? It was a huge deal, and they were a massive focal point for the community. And the places that we were filming in are doing that same, fulfilling that same purpose. So they're all, hubs for their community.
Very cool. Slice of Life is part of the Chicago International Film Festival. You can see it at AMC New City 14, Wednesday and Thursday. Go to their website and social media for more. Thanks, guys. Good to meet you.
Thank you for having us.